What's up? Welcome to the most badass anime podcast around the Protagonist seat.
10 out of 10. Only the most badass thrills.
10 out of 10 would bang.
Would bang. 12 out of 10 would bang. Bang my ears with your podcast.
Yeah, imagine if we did the whole thing like that.
I would die. My vocal cords would fall out of my face.
I can handle it. I can do the whole podcast, be like, all right, we're talking about Promised Neverland this week. Yeah, so anyway, we got these kids, and they want to get off this farm and not be eaten.
Eat down now. I did that for the...
Quintessential Quintuplets. 5 out of 5 would bang.
That is a good way of measuring that.
Yeah.
You know what? They are 1/5 each. They make up a whole one. I don't fully understand that statement. It made no sense.
You know what else doesn't make sense? JoJo.
Yeah, but
Di moto.
but it doesn't make sense in a good way, in a fun way.
Yeah. So we finish off Babyface this week because I didn't care for him.
Yeah, I didn't really give a shit about the one villain that's like design. It feels like they were designed to be fought by Giorno. I don't give a shit about him.
Yeah, exactly, because I don't care about Giorno.
Yeah, it transfers over to his villains.
Yeah.
Because Babyface has a lot of weird shit going on. Because it's like, it needs to be conceived, and then it also has that weird-ass tracking power, and then it also has the ability to, like...
Where you got other stands that do one thing, and they just do that one thing really well. This does, like, so much shit. Like, is the stand the computer?
That's why it's made to fight Giorno. It has as many ill-designed powers as Gold Experience.
Yeah, I don't even like Golden Experience that much because I'm like, it can do a different thing all the fucking time.
This was like a weird anti-Gold Experience because like it also evolves, like the weird juniors evolve. But, like, whatever. He beats it by putting a motorcycle inside it and then blowing him up.
Yeah, another thing I didn't like about this fight is he does things in such a way where he just, like, it's like, wait, your other hand? He's like, yeah, I secretly put the bike inside you without you knowing.
Yeah, because it's like...
You don't, like, see him do any of this. It's like he just says
happens.
it and it happens like a magic trick.
It's like a more poorly designed version of Joseph's stuff, where at least with Joseph's stuff, they would show you like, oh, actually the whole time he was actually doing this, and they explain it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, they don't show it here. It just happens.
It just happens. It just fucking happens. But anyway, that ends, and he turns the junior Babyface thing's dead body into a snake, and then has the snake kill Demoto Man
and
at the station.
And that's kind of a distance to travel.
For a snake racing a train.
Yeah.
It was... Also, the snake, like, teleports, because, like, it drops on him fucking twice.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't know. Everything involved with that I didn't like.
Yeah, but that's fine because it's done.
Yeah, the next guy, White Album.
White Album is Ice.
Iceman, yep.
He is the Iceman cometh.
But yeah, so they go into the turtle because they get a message from the boss telling...
I thought this was a pretty cool way of doing this.
I actually did think this was cool. He basically gave them a message and told them to have Abakio rewind the room 14 hours.
Have Moody Blues sit on the chair and rewind 14 hours ago.
And they end up seeing Moody Blues turn into the other capo, the one that gave them Trish, and he basically, to have full security, gave them the orders of what to do next, and then basically said, all right, your next thing is to bring Trish to Venice and go to this statue where apparently there's like a disk drive in it or something.
Yeah, there's like a CD they need.
Yeah, because Boss decided the best method to do this entire thing was to make a scavenger hunt.
Yeah. I also don't fully understand, because, like, why have them go to the CD if you realize you can just be like, oh, I'll just have the capo do this 14 hours ago. Why not just have him give the instructions? Because he kills himself.
Well, apparently because he's like, they're on to me, so they know.
Yeah.
So they were going to get to him before then.
And he burns the picture. Because he shows a picture of the statue that the CD is, I guess, hidden in.
Yeah, and then he blows his brains out. But I guess the leader of the Hitman squad got the ashes of it, and he basically forced some computer guys in Peshun to recreate the image from just the ashes, which I don't think that technology exists.
No.
Nor did it exist especially in the 1990s or early 2000s early 2000s I think this one takes place in.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, that doesn't exist today.
Yeah, so I doubt that. But we do learn that...
yeah, it's not even like with a stand. He's just doing it through the computer.
Yeah. But we do learn that evil Hitman Squad Leader Man's stand makes, like, nails hit people and shit.
Full guess right now. I think his stand is probably going to be called 9-Inch Nails.
I don't know. I think that's reaching just a little bit. I mean, sure, there's nails, but, like, I don't know.
If it's not 9-Inch Nails, I'm going to be mad. I mean, come on, it can be on the nose. Man in the mirror was man in the mirror.
Was a man in the mirror.
Man in the mirror.
Man in the mirror. Yeah, it's probably 9-Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Nails.
And they end up deciding to keep everybody inside the turtle. Well, Giorno and Mista Giorno just drives into Venice, and Mista's going to sit in the back seat and kind of watch if anyone's tailing them.
He's going to be the shooter man, because that's what Mista does. He shoots people.
And as they're driving, they're attacked by White Album, who just somehow got on top of their car.
Ice powers.
Yeah, and he starts freezing things, and Mista even loses a finger because it's so cold that when he bangs into the window, his finger just sticks and just comes right off.
Yeah, he tears it off without even noticing. And then his face gets stuck to the other window.
And they can't move, and I actually did find the way they went about this fight creative, since he asked Giorno if he could create anything to, like, sort of fight back, but Giorno can't create anything, I guess Golden Experience makes life, and nothing can be born at, like, negative, like, 110 degrees Celsius or whatever.
Yeah, because that whole temperature calculation was a little bit of weird pseudoscience bullshit, where he's like, well, a car is moving this fast, so that means there's wind speeds of this, which means that the temperature outside must be this.
But then they figured out, hey, he had Golden Experience grab Mista's bullets, and Mista shot his bullets into the ice guy above them, but obviously they didn't penetrate him since he has, like, an ice armor on almost.
Yeah.
But bullets heat up when you shoot them, so they were it was enough where Giorno could actually, like, turn them into something.
He turned them into roots and basically had the roots pry that dude off the roof of their car, which was cool as shit.
And then you think they beat him, but turns out his stand is a full bodysuit with, like, skates on the bottom.
Yeah, this dude is he is Terminator 2 level Liquid Terminator coming back.
Then he starts skating after them, and I actually found the way Mista used his bullets creative against him, because his armor's too thick for bullets to go through, so he had his stand Sex Pistols stick the bullets on the bottom of the skates,
which would fuck up his traction, basically.
Yeah, but then he freezes the exhaust and grabs on, because of course.
Yeah, he does eat shit, which is cool.
Yeah.
But then, because he's freaking the Liquid Terminator from T2, he comes back grabbing on the exhaust.
And as he gets into the car, Giorno decides the best course of action against the ice guy is to go into the water.
Yep.
So he drives the car off the bridge.
Because what could possibly go wrong?
Turns out this guy that can freeze anything very fast, the best place to fight him is probably in water, which... He froze car exhaust. He went from gas to solid. He skipped the liquid stage on that.
He is so cold, he froze car exhaust. So, I mean, the ocean moves and is salty, so it doesn't freeze, right?
That's probably going to be the bullshit reason why it doesn't, like, freeze.
I kind of hope not, because, like...
And they're going to explain, like, that's why he can't freeze the ocean, because of the saltwater content.
The salt content. And then I'm just going to be sitting on my couch, like, well, it lowers the freezing point.
But again, this guy went from gas to solid.
Like, instantly. So it's... I don't know. But I do think you are correct. I think that's the way they're going to take it.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll find out next week if it's going to be stupid or not.
It's probably going to be pretty stupid. But
Yeah.
I hope it's stupid in the good way.
Yeah. You know, it's stupid and in a good way.
Is it the Rising of the Shield Hero?
This show should not be as enjoyable as it is.
I read
every episode, I'm like, this is an isekai. I'm sick of this shit. Why am I enjoying this shit?
Why am I strangely not sick of this one?
Yeah.
It's...
Like, normally at this point, I get burnt out, like, because we're already, like, halfway through. Actually, this is 2 core, so we're, like, a quarter of the way through. But, yeah, we get to see a race between Motoyasu and Narufumi.
But first, our hero, Narufumi, gets a chocobo.
Yeah, he gets a chocobo.
It is...
Because he goes back because Raftalia wants to basically get her slave crest back.
Because who the fuck knows?
I guess, like, people who read the light novel or something, there's, like, a gameplay benefit. They get, like, an XP bonus for slave bonuses or whatever.
It's probably, like, some of that weird Link shit.
Yeah.
Like the Link is better or something.
Yeah, that's the, I think that's the gameplay benefit of it. But there's also from a literary standpoint, there's that BDSM subtext.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, you get this half off. Get a chocobo egg or whatever.
Yeah.
Could be a dragon. Might be cool.
Yeah. This is an egg lottery. It's a guarantee of at least being a chocobo. And he's like,
thanks, slave trader.
What's a chocobo? And then Raftalia's like, oh, it's a big ass riding ostrich. And he's like,
yeah, chocobo.
Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, he decides whatever.
I'll throw it in I'll throw it in half off if you buy that alongside the slave deal redoing thing. Oh, how could I refuse that deal?
Yeah. And then he decides, oh yeah, at the beginning too, he's getting his money from they're all getting paid for the wave, and they give Motoyasu a bunch of it, and then they give like equal amount to the sword and bow guy, and then they're only gonna give him like 500 silver, but then they're like, hey, since we had to do that whole slave contract end thing,
yeah, we'll charge you for that.
Yeah, and then but again, the sword and bow guy kind of coming around, we're like, hey, you guys actually cheated, so just give him his full amount, and they're like, huh. Fine.
We didn't cheat, and they're like, no, but we actually 100% saw you cheating. So like,
yeah, you got it's like 3 heroes against 1 now at this point. So
I do like how the other 2 heroes were like, maybe this isn't quite as we assumed, and they're starting to come around. They're not being as shitty.
Yeah.
Not Motoyasu, because he's stupid and being manipulated by the king.
Yeah, he's dumb, and he's just basically their pawn.
I feel kind of bad for him, actually, because he's just a stupid
He's just
pawn.
a moron. He's being used. He's not actually like...
And he just can't see it. I feel bad for this man.
And so he's now staying in that town he saved. I want to say its name is Loot.
Yeah, the town of Loot.
Yeah, he's staying in Loot for a little bit, and then one day Motoyasu and the princess show up, and she's like, hey, the spear hero now runs this town, and there's like a
50 silver tax for entering and leaving the town. And naturally, all the villagers are like, that's fucked up. That's not cool.
And then Narufumi actually is like, hey, Motoyasu, do you know how much a night at the inn is here? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, it's 1 silver. You're charging like
50. Actually, it's more than that, because it would be to enter and leave. That would be 100 nights if you wanted to enter and leave.
And he's obviously like,
I didn't know that because I'm stupid.
And then these like weird assassin ninja people show up we forgot to mention this queen lady shown at the beginning. And
there's industrial era France.
Yeah,
also
because they're like, hey, read this, and she reads it, and she gets all mad, but we don't get to see what she reads.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's like saying that the shield hero gets the town or something.
It's probably like, hey, fuck off.
Yeah, and so then she's like, shield hero, you challenge us for the town. And he's like, I don't want to. And the villagers are like, please. And he's like, fine. And they have a race.
Because people are finally starting to be nice to him. You know, he's actually starting to make a little bit of a turnaround where he's like, maybe this isn't such a piece of shit as I was initially assumed.
And they have a race where Moriyasu's on his dragon and Narufumi's on his...
he's on his chocobo.
His chocobo.
Because it grows real fucking fast.
Moriyasu goes to, like, mock him, and the chocobo kicks him in the dick.
Yeah, and it's great. That's it. It kicks
just
him in the dick, and it's really good.
And it's almost just... It's like a nice little symbolic moment to just show where things are going now for this guy.
And they actually, like, they snicker together about it. And I'm like, he's smiling. We're getting smiles out of him. The rise of the smiles hero.
Yeah, we've been waiting on these. It's been frowny faces for, like, 6 episodes.
We need our smiley face Narufumi.
And they have the race, and, of course, the princess tries to cheat like she always does.
Naturally. And one of the guards casts probably one of my favorite spells I've ever heard anyone in any anime cast ever, because he casts a spell to create a pit in the earth so that he trips on it. So this freaking dude is in the woods and he casts Asshole. And I fucking love that. It's so good.
And even with cheating, they still can't win.
Yep, because turns out his chocobo, whom he names Philo, is a freaking baller.
Yeah, and he wins, and he gets to become lord of the town.
Yay! And then he leaves.
And well, he doesn't really care, so they're like, "Hey, we'll get you your payment for it." And he's like, "Fuck it, I don't want money." He's like,
"I don't want that."
He's like,
it would look bad if I took your recovery money from you, so fucking just keep it."
And he's like, "Give me that." And he just asks for a wagon.
And they like, sure, take it.
And they give him a trade license, like a merchant license, where he can just go through any place without tolls.
Yeah, which is a pretty goddamn useful tool to have.
Yeah, and as he's going around, he goes to sleep one night and wakes up, and the egg, or the chocobo, has turned into a little girl.
It is now a small girl.
Because of course.
And they're both like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Who? Excuse me? Who?
Yeah, and that's where it ends off.
Yep, because she's like, hey, master, good morning. Let's grab some eats.
And now his chocobo, in the opening, it shows her transform and stuff, though, so I guess she can just choose what form she wants.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they thought it was a falafel at first, but then it's not. It's something else. He won the lottery.
And I guess we'll find out more about that industry. I'm assuming that lady, that queen, is like from some other country or whatever.
That's what I'm thinking, because
it showed at first I thought, oh, is this like the queen of the same kingdom? But she's in like a weird place that's not the same castle.
It's like, it is a lot different, because it looks, there are industrial smokestacks. The soldiers look like French legionaries. They have rifles.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how summoning the heroes would potentially rile the neighbors, and I was like, oh, there must be a lot more players than I originally thought in here.
And it seems like she's, at the very least, her people kind of are on the shield hero side,
I guess,
which might make sense as to why the main people hate the shield hero.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that it's sort of a trend among them.
Also, beast people apparently look or demi-humans look fondly upon the shield hero, which again, so the shield hero might, or because multiple heroes have been summoned through multiple timelines, maybe shield heroes of the past have been, I guess, just not dicks.
Yeah.
And that's just historically been an issue for the king.
I think it's been like, I don't know, part of me wonders if the like, I don't know what the ritual, I guess, if the ritual picks people of a certain archetype for the different heroes.
Yeah. Where it's like, hey, we're just going to take first spear hero, just dumbasses. Sword hero, edgelords.
Easily manipulated.
bow heroes, just fucking boys. And then the shield hero, just
give me someone nice.
Yeah, give me a nice guy.
Give me a nice boy.
Yeah.
I like the shit out of the show. It's so good.
You know who are not nice boys? Well, you know who's not a nice boy? Ray. In the Promised Neverland.
Ray is not a nice boy. Holy shit.
Turns out Ray has been working for Mom all along.
Get ready for Intrigue Central.
This episode, it was mostly just talking, but the scene with Ray and Norman is so well done that I'm like, these are two, 12-year-old boys having a conversation, and the tension in this room is like...
I know, it's so good. It's like... Because I was watching it, and I was like, this is, the most adult conversation I've ever heard between two people, and these are children.
Yeah, because the last episode we thought, oh, Ray got out fucking played, Norman got him, and then Ray immediately, just flips it around.
You can tell that these are two extremely intelligent people going at it at different angles at each other. And holy shit.
Where basically Ray's like, hey, I'm not your enemy, but I'm not your ally.
Yeah, I'm not your friend.
And we did confirm that Ray did indeed place Little Bunny where he did.
Yes, Ray set the wheels in motion.
He mentioned that he was going to tell them everything right that night, but since they left Little Bunny there and Isabella figured out, he had to kind of do damage control because of that and fix all the problems that caused.
And so that's kind of what he's been doing. He's been doing damage control, and he's basically been exploiting his position as a snitch to get various things.
Because it turns out he still always wanted to escape, but he figured the best place to do that would be at, basically being Isabella's number one.
Yes, the best place to gather information and manipulate your enemy is when they think you're in their pocket. And goddamn. Basically, they have this whole sort of... It's almost like a negotiation scene.
Yeah.
Ray is essentially let's spill most of the information he's got. And he's like, I'll be your ace in the hole, but on one condition, you need to lie to Emma.
Yeah, because Ray still doesn't think taking everybody with him is a good idea, which is practical.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, yeah, we can start out with everyone, but then we ditch him halfway through. He's like, probably the only people we'll actually take is Dawn and Gilda.
Yeah, if anybody, we'll take them. And Norman is like, fine, you got it. And Ray gives him the threat, if you're lying to me threat. And Norman's like, I'm not lying. And immediately I was like, holy shit, is Norman lying? I can't tell what's going on.
And that scene where Ray leaves the room and he's just walking down the hallway really confident, and Norman's just like, fuck.
And then both of them slowly change as they get like Ray gets down the hallway, and then he just slowly devolves into shit. And Norman, I think Norman figures something out.
Yeah.
Because he starts a giggling. Something's going on in that.
That was a good, because where he's talking to him, he's like, hey, when did you suspect me? He's like, from the very beginning, but I just didn't want to believe it.
I thought of it as a worst case scenario. Oh, turns out you were also correct with the trap. Because there were traps set for Dawn and Gilda, but those were in different locations that he told Ray.
And then they ended up going... And I like how after Norman figures it out, when they're outside talking with Emma, he's just straight up, oh yeah, we've already figured out who the spy was, it's me.
Yeah, Ray just comes out and he's like, oh yeah, it's me. And Emma gets a little scary at this part.
Well, because she basically asks him, hey... You knew about all this stuff the whole time. You didn't purposefully, sacrifice others so we wouldn't get shipped out, right?
And you said you were testing things on the tracking devices. Whose ears did you use? And at that point, I was like, holy shit, I never thought of that.
Yeah, and she's almost she grabs his hand and she kind of looks at him and she's like, you're not alone anymore. You don't have to keep doing that. And she,
She gives him the scary eyes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's probably remains to be, like, Ray, he does seem to care about Norman and Emma, but it seems like he probably would have, if he had to, maybe have used some of the other people in the house to like, sort of test some, test the limits of stuff.
And part of me also wonders if, actually, no, because if Isabella knew that the tracking devices were in the ears, she never fucking would have given the ears to Ray of the not sacrifice, but of the sold children. Because why would you do that? That is a dumb decision.
That'd be a weird request too. It's like, hey, give me the ear.
Give me their ears. I just really want their ears.
Yeah, and she would probably be like, hey, why does he want that? He's a smart guy. He knows something's up.
Yeah, this kid is smart.
I do want to see what he asked for, though, because he said, like, he tested what he can. And,
yeah.
Also, I want to know what he reported. If he's, like, the only person that knows and nothing's really gone on since they've been there, like, what value has he had as an informant? It's like, they played tag yesterday. Yes, the day before that was hopscotch. Tomorrow it looks like Ring Around the Rosie.
Probably.
Also, he's been doing this since he was 6, apparently.
Yes, 6 years. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably just like, is there anything going on that I don't see? Nope. Good. Keep an eye on the smart kids. Keep an eye on the top of the class kids. Because that's definitely what I would do.
And at the end of the episode, they're making some strategy, or they're talking about the secret room that Mom or Isabella reports to the demons from.
Yeah, because she disappears every night at 8 o'clock.
And because Don still thinks this is a human trafficking thing, he desperately wants to save Connie, so he decides he can't wait around. He's got to, because Ray tells him, hey, we have nothing to gain of value from going into that room. That's a dumb idea. Let's not do that.
Because even if we could use the radio, it probably only contacts the people who Isabella reports to.
But Don's like, I gotta find out where Connie is, so he just goes there, and Gilda's trying to stop him, but then she gets pulled along with it.
Yeah, and then basically they figure out that the door to the hidden room is behind a bookshelf.
And as they're doing that, you hear the door slowly open.
Yes.
And that's where it ends.
Yep, so
I'm going to guess it's going to be a fake-out scare.
I kind of hope it is, because I would be a little bummed if Don and Gilda got caught at this point.
Yeah.
Because, man, they got to get caught at a different point.
Yeah.
This show is written so well, and I love these characters. I like watching intelligent characters play games of 4D chess against each other.
Much like Kaguya-sama, Love is War, where it is just constant 4D chess.
The ultimate battle. The ultimate mental 4D chess.
And we only actually have one this week.
Yeah.
Because the first one is just Kaguya and... so before, there was a previous episode where Shirogane gave love advice to a student that came to him, where Kaguya does the same thing, and it's the same couple.
Yeah,
except
it's
now
the girl.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny as shit.
And the first thing she does is like, hey, Kaguya, can you help give me some advice on relationships? And she's like, all right, sure. She's like, how do I break up with my boyfriend? She's like, this is several steps after the point I thought it was going to be.
I had no idea it was going to be this far. Holy crap. And basically, she pulls a Shirogane. She tries to do it, and luckily, she has Chika, the love detective.
Yeah, and she's like, how long have you been there? She's like, I've actually been there the whole time, but I had to run to the drama club to get this hat, because she has, like, the Sherlock Holmes hat and the pipe.
Yeah. Man.
And she basically tries to, like, help her figure it out. She's like, do you still like him? And she's like, I don't know. And she's like, think of him with another girl.
Yeah.
And then Shinomiya, like Kaguya does the same thing, picturing Shirogane with Chika, and she gets real pissed off.
And other student pictures other boy with another girl. Do we need names? We do not need names.
Yeah, they don't.
She pictures her boyfriend with another girl, and she gets all gloomy and sad, and she's like, I don't like that at all. And Chika's like, see, you do love him.
And then after she's talking to them, and she explains, Kaguya tries to chime in. She's like, maybe you need like a Romeo and Juliet thing.
God.
You need like something to rebel against. And then she's like, but what could we have to fight against? And Chika's like, society.
Yeah, Chika goes to fucking 11, and Kaguya's like, that is way too far. I was just thinking like final exams or term papers or something.
And she's like, no, yeah, we gotta rebel against this corrupt society.
And they get caught away from there. Another student is like, we're gonna go form a rebellion, and she just storms off.
And then it turns out they organize some like charity work and stuff.
Yeah, they both enjoy charity work, so they begin doing that together. And someone else who gets swept along with the charity work is class president.
Yeah, and he sees the eagerness, and he doesn't know much about it, but he wants to help.
Yep, so he does. And there's also one point in this part where because Kaguya is like, hey, why don't we list all the positive things about the boy you like? And she lists off a bunch of qualities.
Oh yeah, his menacing glare.
Yeah, she's like, he's good at school, he's kind, he has a menacing glare. And the other student's like, you like guys with menacing glares? And she's like, yeah, forget about that part. But she sees Shirogane. Their last names are too similar. She sees Shirogane.
Actually, Shinomiya is her first name. Kaguya is her last name. Actually, no, wait. Yeah, Kaguya is her first name.
Kaguya, Shinomiya, and Miyuki?
Yeah, I think it's Miyuki.
I think so. Class president. She sees him helping with charity, and she's like, hey, that's more of the things I like about him. And she falls deeper in love. Kaguya loses.
But the best part is by far the second story arc in this.
100,000%. Holy shit.
And it is Shirogane. Turns out he is awful at sports.
He is, I believe they describe him as a creature because he tries to do volleyball serves and hits himself in the face.
And he's really embarrassed because they have a big volleyball game coming up that he has to play in, and he's really good at school stuff and like education
and he
studying.
He doesn't have a fitness problem.
Yeah, he rides his bike to school every day. He just has no coordination.
He has I would say literally no coordination.
And he's just, his body's flying everywhere. He's slapping himself in the face.
He misses so hard
to do a single serve.
He falls on the floor, like on his back.
Chika sees this, and he realizes, like, he sees her serve all she does is tap the ball, and it just goes over the net, and his instant reaction is amazing.
And it is a fine, like, it's okay. It is pure middle of the road serve, and he is just, this is the master.
And he basically has her help him get better at sports.
He pressures her into it, and she teaches him how to serve after like 3 or 4 days of just hard training.
And she realizes the first problem is that he does it with his eyes closed.
Yeah, so she trains him to do things with his eyes open, because of course.
And after weeks of hard training, or like days of hard training, he comes back and he can now serve.
Yep, congratulations.
She's like, she's really tired. Good, you learned how to do it. And he's like, cool, now teach me how to receive and how to...
Yeah, teach me how to toss and receive. And she's like,
gah! And they spend the whole week training, and then it cuts to the volleyball game, and he's doing amazing. Everyone's like cheering for him.
He is a fucking tennis beast.
And Kaguya and Chika are watching from the stands, and she looks just ragged and tired. And she's like, I raised that boy.
And Kaguya's like, you're his mother? It's so good. Also, I think Chika gets another piece of the puzzle, because I think I'm doing some theory crafting here. I think Love Detective Chika, if she does not already know, is going to figure out that, hey, Kaguya and Shirogane, they like each other.
Part of me feels like, I don't know, I feel like because she constantly ruins everything on accident.
Put some air quotes up there for safety on accident. Maybe it's all part of her plan.
I don't know. I think she might just actually be an airhead.
Maybe Chica was playing 5D chess.
And Chica likes the president.
And she is just... She's 2 leagues ahead of everybody. Or maybe she's just like, these guys... My friends like each other, but neither one of them is ever gonna say it. So I'm just gonna, like, do as much as I can to force it.
I don't know, 'cause she's ruined most of it by just...
being Chica.
Yeah.
But she does come in at the clutch in, almost said episode 3, in arc 3 of this episode.
Yeah, so it's raining at school in the third one, and they both are basically see students leaving with, their... like, you know, students sharing an umbrella, and they both think this is a perfect opportunity. They both bring umbrellas, but they both act like they forgot to try to get the other one to admit they have an umbrella and ask to share.
This is so fucking good. Like, oh my god. I feel like this one is exactly what, like, the type of thing that hooked me into it, because essentially they both think that the other one is going to have the umbrella, so they both pull the, oh, I don't have my umbrella today gag, but then they realize that they both pulled it, so now it's a game of, I need to prove the other one is lying to get them to pull out their umbrella.
And Shirogane did not do as much planning in this as Kaguya.
He came up with it in an hour.
And she spent, like, days and weeks, like, calculating this with the weather patterns and all that.
So good.
And she basically gets him by the point of he's like, acts like, oh yeah, I didn't check the weather today. And she's like, then why did you take the train?
And he's like, gah! That's the final blow. R.I.P. He's been found out. What's our president gonna do? Nothing, because Chica shows up in the clutch with the umbrella.
And then she gives hers to Kaguya, and they both decide to equally share the umbrella.
Because at first Kaguya is like, fine, you win, take the umbrella. And he's like, why don't
I take half of it?
Yeah, why don't I borrow half of it? And then they're walking to the train station with the umbrella, and then it stops raining. And they're still doing it. They're still keeping at it. But
and it was a tie.
It was a tie. They both won and lost. And we get a sneak peek of a character who I've been waiting for this whole time.
Ishigami.
Sad boy.
Yeah, the guy, the treasurer who is always, like, mentioned but never actually there.
Exactly.
Because they were like, oh, Ishigami took off earlier today, or Ishigami's already gone.
Yeah, and now we get to see him. Well, we get to see the back of his head.
Yeah.
But it's basically like, hey, he's going to show up next week, so get ready.
Make the student council more full.
Yeah. Oh, man, the 4D chess gets me every time. Almost like the 5D chess.
Yeah, you know who's playing 4D chess? Yotsuba. Just you guys wait.
Yotsuba is playing she's playing like 20D chess.
Yotsuba is Alex's best girl. Miku is Ian's.
Yes, because Miku, she got the tights. She got the colored nails. She got the sweater and the headphones. She's perfect.
Well, Nino's got colored nails, too. That's actually Nino's shtick.
Yeah, but Nino's a bitch.
Nino's also a potato in this adaptation.
She's super is.
After watching this, and again, I like reading the manga too, I feel like the director is a pretty big Miku fan, because every shot of Nino, she looks like a potato in this.
Yeah, and every shot
And she doesn't look like a potato in the manga.
Because, you know, the original manga artist is like, I gotta draw them all fair. Just to keep it going like this, you know?
Whereas this director's like, my least favorite girl will be a potato.
I like Miku. Every scene with Miku will be super pretty.
Every scene with Nino, that bitch, will be a potato.
I will put all of the budget in the scenes with Miku. But you know what? It shows he's got taste.
But it doesn't really matter about either of them this episode, because it's the Ichika episode.
It is. We find out some shit. Fussy man with mustache that has been seen with Ichika. Turns out he's a cameraman.
Yeah, and Ichika is trying to be an actress.
Yes. She's done smaller roles,
And
which
they have
is why she
a
disappears.
and they have a really long hug for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, because they hide in an alley, and then Mustache Man sees people down the alley, and he's like, well, guess I'll just sit right here at the end of the alleyway.
Yep, and they decide, okay, let's just look like a couple so he doesn't, like, suspect anything.
It kind of works.
Yeah, and then they realize, though, well, they can't just sit here the whole time.
Yep.
But they have a conversation. She's like, so what? He's like, I need to get you to, like, see the fireworks. And she's like, why are you so involved in our business? And he's like, yeah, why am I so involved? He's
That
like,
is
thinking logically, I have nothing to gain from this.
Yeah, that is a legitimately good question. And there's a lot of, like, introspection and, like, I shouldn't have said we were just acquaintances when Miku said we were friends. Turns out that's kind of a crappy thing to say to someone.
And he realizes that, and then after he hears the director go like, Ichika, there you are. It turns out it was Miku, because she changed her hairstyle slightly.
Yep, because Miku flashes back to hearing, you're supposed to compliment a girl whenever she changes her hairstyle, so she's like, if I change my hairstyle, maybe he will compliment me. And then she just gets caught by the weird fussy dude.
Yep, and I feel bad for this guy. Like, every scene, like, he immediately shows up, and he's, like, always, like, hey, and, like, grabs at the girls. He's like, what's your relationship with Ichika? What are you doing? Why are you here?
This dude definitely has an incredibly frustrating job. Because, like, I would be super pissed if I had to, like, babysit this actress girl all day long, and all she did was run away.
But basically, he helps her, and, well, he basically runs out and explains that Miku isn't Ichika, and he's like, what's your relationship to her? He's like, we're partners.
Partner. Because that seems to come up a lot. Because, like, well, I don't want to call us friends. And I'm like, dude, just fucking call yourselves friends. It's not that hard. It's really not that big a deal.
Yeah. But, Japanese people with titles and relationships to one another.
Titles mean everything about the relationships.
And Ichika, after, agrees to go with him, and she says to tell the others that she's sorry. And he kind of runs after her for a second, and then kind of grabs her face and says, stop it with that fake smile.
Yeah, that shit is weird and off-putting. And she's like, how'd you know I was fake smiling? This dude was playing 4D chess.
And his answer to that whole thing was just, because your smile is different from all the others.
Yeah, because they're quintuplets.
But now then she's like, huh. And then she goes and does her audition, and she actually does it better now, because it's basically her just thanking her teacher.
Senpai.
Or it was sensei.
Sensei, that's right.
And while she's doing that, he actually has all the other girls, since they missed the fireworks together, organized sort of like a thing in the park where they're just doing sparklers and stuff.
Using the cheap fireworks set that Yotsuba bought his little sister earlier.
Yeah.
Which, thank God she didn't send a young child home with a box of fireworks.
Yeah. And after Ichika nails the audition, and the manager guy's like, I've taken an interest in you, too.
And they're both gone.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh.
And they go back out, and after he brings her to the park, and she's like, I gotta apologize to my sisters, and he's like, you can do that right now, and he's like, they're all here at the park, and they all basically apologize to each other, because Nino's like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you guys the address, and Miku's like, I'm sorry I got hurt. Itsuki's like, I'm sorry I have bad direction.
Miku was just like, I'm sure I messed some stuff up in there, so I apologize.
And Yotsuba's like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did like that response. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I'm sorry too.
And after Futaro's like, hey, wait, I can go home now.
They're seeing the fireworks together. My little sister is asleep. Now I can go study.
But then he just kind of falls asleep. It turns out he can sleep with his eyes open.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah. And as they're doing the fireworks stuff together, there's a little foreshadowing moment where Miku and Ichika they're like, all right, these are the last fireworks. She's like, whoa, we picked the same one. That doesn't happen very often. And it's like, because they both like the same guy.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And then Ichika kind of sees that he fell asleep, and she kind of lets him sleep on her lap.
Yep. And it's very touching. And
that's the episode.
Yeah.
Next week, it looks like we're jumping already to the final exams arc. I think the manga of this show, the manga is better than the show.
Doesn't surprise me.
Because I just like the way Negi draws them better. Because I don't know, I like the way he draws eyes. He does really good on eyes. They're very expressive.
I feel like making someone's eyes expressive is a lot harder in anime because you have to do 17,000 fucking frames of that shit.
Yeah.
Whereas in a manga, you can just be like, this one frame will have their eyes look like this. But an anime artist is like, fuck, I gotta draw these eyes super detailed 600 times.
Yeah.
Why is this scene so long?
And I'm actually I can't wait to discuss eyes more when we get to the price of smiles, because holy shit, there's some derp face going on this episode.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's not next. Next is domestic girlfriend.
No derp eyes.
Yeah.
More suppositories.
The first part is, we meet a new character.
Momo.
Yeah, who she's got all kinds of issues. Because I realized everyone in the show has a lot of issues.
Yeah, and Momo is she is the type of person that inspired the phrase, don't stick your dick in crazy.
Exactly. That's why I like this episode. It kind of spoke to me in ways where I'm like, I've been in that situation where it's like, hey, you should back off now. Don't go any further. Stop.
I have also been in that situation.
It's
before.
Like you have seen so many red flags and signs to just no, don't do this.
The fact that I am here at this point at all should be worrying to myself.
I should reevaluate me that I got here.
GG, no re.
And this is one of the few times where he actually is smart and decides, hey, maybe I should back out of here. And he does.
Maybe. I shouldn't put my dick in crazy.
Yeah.
And he has dinner with it instead.
Yeah, which, you know what, it's arguably a lot better.
Basically, through the episode, we learn...
Momo doesn't have a lot of friends, so she approaches Rui.
And...
Because Rui's new.
Yeah, and she gives her what I can only describe as a small handmade stuffed animal keychain that looks like it belongs in Magical Girl Spec-Ops Asuka. It looks like it should be tearing people's heads off. Shit is creepy.
Yeah, but anyway, you find out, and immediately, too, when she's sitting at her table, her friends that are sitting with her are like, oh, you got that from Momo? And they take it and they throw it out for her.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, that girl's, basically they're just like, that girl's a whore.
Yeah, she is easy. And at first I was like, "Oh, fuck you guys!"
Yeah, they're just being mean.
Yeah,
and then you find out, oh, that's totally true later on, because it turns out that she starts developing a crush on Natsuno
because
he's nice.
Yeah, he's a nice boy.
And then she's even like, "Hey, Rui, do you like Natsuno?" And she's like, "No." And she's like, because they don't know the sibling thing.
Yeah.
She's like, does he have a girlfriend? Not that I know of. Is it cool if I go for him? Yeah, I guess.
Sure. And
then
she
decides
does.
to. She gives him a note that basically says, "Hey, message me on Line or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, I don't use Line," so he just doesn't.
Yeah, because Rui goes home sick that day, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do that later."
And he goes home and he goes home to care for her, and she's like, "Hey, can you wipe the sweat off of me?" And the whole time, she's naked there, and he has the cloth on his hand. He's wiping her back. He's like, "Sister, sick person, sister, sick person."
He's, I gotta give it to him. He's really trying.
Yeah,
he's trying real hard.
And then he calls I think Rui's mom, and he's like, "Yeah, she's still sick. What do I do?" And he's just like, "A suppository."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What?" I feel like most modern day I feel like a suppository for anything is really fucking rare. How much medicine? It's like, oh man, I got a common cold. Give me something for my anus.
is there something I can stick up my ass to shorten my cold?
It's like, hey, Ian, you got a cold right now. It's like, hey, you want some pills or, like, some liquid medicine? Nah, what do you got that goes right up in the, just fucking right up there?
That's what James needs. We need to give James a suppository. He's been so sick.
Yeah, he's been sick. It's like, hey, bend over. Here's your medicine.
Like, I have so many questions about this. Like, one, I didn't realize there were any suppositories ever that were for, like...
the common cold.
The common... Like, how sick is this girl? Two, who the fuck has suppositories just lying around?
The house, yeah, they're just there.
Yeah, oh yeah, we keep them above the fridge. Why? Why do you have those?
We prefer to take our medicine anally.
Why?
I feel like
I don't understand.
I feel like suppositories are for very specific things, and generally, if you have the option, you generally don't want to go for the suppository if it's there. It's like, let's see, I got headache medicine. I can either take some pills or a suppository. Just give me the suppository. You never know.
Yeah, you never know what'll happen. It might like gum up my throat or something. I
might not want to swallow anything that day, so I'll just stick it right up my ass.
Like, it is such a weird setup to an awkward scene that they don't really show. Like, it's mostly just his reaction, like, what, suppository? And then it cuts to afterwards, and he's like, I can't believe it went all the way in.
Yeah, I expected it to be, like, again, a lot raunchier and show us. Like, him just be like, trying to, like, stick it in there.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
That's one of the things about this show that continually surprises me. I expect it to be, like, a lot more raunchy and lowbrow than it actually is.
Yeah. The premise is lowbrow, but the execution's a lot more tame.
Yeah, and I respect that.
Oh, and he goes to school the next day, and he ends up finally, like, talking to her, and she's like, looks kind of down. He's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I don't use lines, so I just couldn't, like, respond. Yeah. She's like, oh, good, I thought that just meant you didn't like me. You want to go on a date today? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then he goes
That's not weird.
Yeah, and then he goes into class, and one of his best friends, the blonde dude with the earrings, is like, yo, it's kind of weird becoming brothers with a friend. I think he means, like, Eskimo brothers.
Yeah, wiener cousins.
He's like, oh, you two dated? And he's like, that's a strong term.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it dated. That's like, that chains me down. I don't like to be chained down.
So he basically found out, the rumors about this girl being easier. Also, if this guy's one of his best friends at school, how do you not know that?
How does that not come up? Like, yeah, there was this crazy chick, because she is not a well-aligned individual. I feel like that makes a story.
Yeah, and so even after finding this out anyway, he just kind of goes with her, and then they're just making out at her house.
They go for, like, they have, I don't know, because it looks like they're having lunch out by a tree, and he says something kind of sad.
Oh, yeah, and then she's like,
you want to come to my house later? Cut to later, at her house.
And then they're both just full-on macking.
And they almost get there.
And then after he kind of undoes her shirt and,
no bra.
And then he notices she's got a bunch of, like, cuts on her wrist. And then he's like,
self-harm marks.
Yeah, and he's like, oh.
Because, we find out, because he backs off, and we find out that she doesn't eat dinner with her parents because they hate each other. So most of the time she just eats by herself. And I think that loneliness has stemmed into a need for affection from other people.
Yeah, and he kind of realizes,
armchair psychologist.
Yeah. So he just makes her dinner and they both eat together, and then she kind of cries because she's kind of happy about it.
Yeah.
And he basically says, hey, we're two people that need to rely on other people. We should definitely not date.
Yeah, he makes a smart decision and is a nice guy about it.
Yeah, and he basically says, I think he's just kind of like, we'll just be friends, and she's fine with that because, she doesn't have any friends anyway.
Yeah, this episode made me go through a lot of complex emotions. I got a lot more admiration for our main hero now because I know that, he's not like that protagonist. He can actually make somewhat intelligent decisions.
He's not the school days guy that'll just whatever's thrown at him he takes.
This dude is gonna escape with his head on his shoulders.
Yeah,
probably.
He's got a good head on his shoulders. This guy,
and it's probably gonna stay there.
But yeah, I liked this episode. It was a good one.
Me too.
At first, I was like off put by a new character showing up, where I'm like, ugh. I'm like, this show is about the sisters. This is a distraction, a waste of time.
And it kind of wasn't.
Yeah.
It was interesting, and it added a new character and developed them in one episode.
Yeah, it was good. And it actually made it developed our main character a little bit more, where we saw he's not that kind of guy.
Yeah,
he's not that kind of guy.
He's kind of a cool guy.
He's an okay guy.
He's not the bad guy.
He's not a bad guy. He's not as good as best friend guy though.
No, best friend guy reigns supreme.
Yeah.
Best friend boy. Almost like
best girl, Asuka.
Best magical girl, Maho Shoujo.
I'm gonna be honest. Asuka might be like my favorite female this season. She's just great.
I agree. Like, okay, I knew this episode was gonna be amazing when I saw it in my queue, and I saw the title was a very realistic method of solving problems.
Yeah, on our Twitter, the most recent tweet on there right now is just a screen cap of that title, and I just said they lied. Because there was nothing realistic about the way they dealt with any of those problems.
And I knew that is exactly what it was going to be, which is why when I saw that title, it gave me so much hope for this series, because I was like, they do know what they're doing. They do know.
Yeah, so Asuka destroys the Russian dudes.
She releases her noble phantasm, which turns her magical karambit into a sword.
Yeah, and apparently it's super strong that it goes through their shields.
And cuts them in half.
Yeah.
GG.
And these dudes were just working hard enough to justify their salaries.
Yeah.
They even say that. That's all, like, we just need to work hard enough to justify our wages.
Yeah. And I find that admirable, but now they're dead, so fuck them.
And Magic Girl, I forget what her full title is, but Abigail.
Oh, it's
Barbie?
It's Barber's Scissors.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
But anyway, Abigail does her transformation into her evil Magic Girl form.
BDSM Magic Girl with spiky shoes.
Yeah, and she summons 2 Halloween classes, and she has to fight Kurumi. And Kurumi has to go up against all of them by herself because Asuka's busy fighting the Russian dudes.
And she gets her fucking ass beat.
Yeah, she starts getting wrecked.
Which doesn't
She gets
surprise
one
me.
of them, though, which is nice.
She does. She kills more Halloween class than she killed in her first encounter.
Also, yes, she can reattach arms.
Yep, she just fully does that.
And I don't think they took the arm with them.
No. I did not see that.
I didn't see them
arm.
take the arm, so she basically made her full-on grow a new arm.
She grew a new arm for this girl. And later we also learned that there are just even less limits than we thought to her healing power.
Yeah, I also like how she has a little case of the needles and can just make them bigger.
Yeah,
just
I
to
think
replace the one she shoots off.
I think that's dope. We also get to see M Squad finally.
And
turns out they're not all ladies. There's some dudes in M Squad.
Yeah, and they're not all. They're actually not shitters.
Yeah,
they take out the Halloween class.
They're not useless because they have
magic guns.
Okay, so M Squad leader, mechanical arm, come back into the army man. Is
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury is driving to the scene, and he's like, don't worry, we've got a very real solution to dealing with magic girls. And I was like, this is gonna be fucking the weirdest bullshit I've ever heard.
Magic guns.
Turns out you can have a regular person shoot through magic shields by giving them orichalcum tipped bullets. And that's how they kill the Halloween class.
And they're basically forcing Abigail to stay on her back foot because she has to keep her shield up because they're all shooting at her. And then Asuka shows up and her theme song starts going like bow, 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 bow.
Because of course it does.
And she actually takes off a few of Abigail's fingers.
Yes, she gets the element of surprise on her and slices off a couple of her fingers. And she's like, oh, I thought since you enjoyed slicing people's bits off, that you would find more pleasure in that. But you look like you're in pain. And I was like, there you go, Asuka.
And she's about to finish her off when a giant cube appears around her.
Similar to the one that crushed that other man who was repeating numbers.
And then a woman in a mask shows up who is apparently Queen.
I'm calling it. That is blonde former leader girl we watched
French
die.
lady who we thought was dead.
Yep. It turns out she's not going to be dead. Or she's going to be mutilated or something. Because we haven't seen her face yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be all fucked up or something.
So she saved Abigail and then teleported away with her.
Yep.
And Asuka, after saving her friend, they go and find out Sporty Tom Girl is obviously filled with PTSD.
She is brimming. Her mind is bursting with post-traumatic stress.
And apparently, not only can War Nurse heal physical wounds, she can heal mental wounds.
She puts a small needle into her brain and basically erases her memories for the past week.
And she said it's important to do it quickly because the longer it takes, the more the trauma sets into the nervous system or whatever.
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense, but whatever.
Yeah. And so she erases her memories, and Asuka decides, I'm back.
Yeah.
People keep asking me if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. And so she joins M Squad.
So good. Magical Girl Rapture joins M Squad.
And she ends up going back to school, and Sporty Tom Girl seems fine now.
Yep.
And Asuka feels sad because she's like, oh man, she doesn't remember the past week and stuff. But everything's fine because she's like, I still want to see the same movie with you that we were going to go see anyway.
Yeah, there's nothing strange arises from that. It's just fine. She just wanted to go see that movie anyway, I guess. Man, this show is so ridiculous, and I love it because they know exactly what they are.
I think it's just great, like, because the part where they're going to, where Abigail's fighting them, she goes through still the magic girl transformation, like the ribbons and stuff, but she's like an evil psychopath.
Yeah, and she's still, like, even her magical girl outfit is, like, still kinda evil.
Yeah.
Evil BDSM barber scissors girl.
But yeah, it was a good episode, and I can't wait for next week because I'm pretty sure American Wet Work Magic Girl is going to show up soon.
Yes, Just Cause Mia. I want to meet Flamethrower Girl.
Yeah, or Nunchuck Girl.
Chun-Li.
Yeah, Chun-Li, who I'm going to immediately say is definitely Chinese. And I'm assuming Flamethrower Girl's German.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also a monologue where Kurumi is like, people are always like, man, you guys are the magical 5. We were just the survivors. There were 11 of us out there.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about the 6 people who died.
They're the real heroes.
They're the real legends. And I was like, man, they can just rip off the best movies, can't they?
Yeah. The whole thing, this whole series is just an 80s
it is an 80s action movie.
And it's great.
It's so good. But
and you know it's okay. Girly Air Force.
Yeah, we finally meet the other girl.
And turns out she's a bitch.
She is kind of psycho. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
She's a little bit of a sociopath.
The episode starts out with Eagle completely destroying Grippin in their training sessions, and she's all high on that, being like, I'm the best, yay, look at me.
Yeah.
The whole episode's kind of built to, like, New Girl shows up, and then Eagle gets beat the fuck out, but
then storms off.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have too much to say about this episode this week, but the New Girl is essentially, she's just kind of not a good person so far.
We learn that the girls were literally not programmed to cooperate with others, which seems like a pretty big oversight in programming.
I feel like, why have them have individual personalities at all if their main purpose is weapons?
That is a very good point.
It's like, I don't want, like, my handgun to be like, I'm not feeling it today. Okay.
I don't want I don't want my rifle to pass out in combat.
Yeah.
Oh shit, my gun fell asleep.
Or I don't want it to be like, hey, this guy needs to be around my gun so it works. So I just kind of need him there holding the back, like, holding the stock for me.
I need to rest my gun on his shoulder. He's my gun stand.
I know, she likes him for some reason.
But green-haired girl Phantom is shitty. She cheats.
Yeah, that's how she wins, too. And Grippin calls her out on it. And she's like, who cares if I cheat? War is about winning.
Yeah, you should do whatever you want to do in the battlefield. And it's like, yeah, but you can't. I don't think you can do that to the enemy.
Also, none of them get along, and they were programmed not, like, to the fact that they don't have to work together or, like, have a desire to work together. And then they decide, all right, now you guys are a team.
Yeah, now you're the, like, international mixed focus task force or whatever.
Fuck it, you guys gotta take care of shit. Good luck.
Save us from the Zai, please.
And yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't even programmed with a desire to want to get rid of Zai. Just do the mission.
Yeah, do the mission. Save the humanity. You win. You did it.
How vague.
That is... It sounds like some poor-ass programming.
But yeah, like I said, I felt like we probably peaked last week, and we'll see this time. I guess they're having him train his body, too, to handle, like, 9 Gs at least.
Yeah.
Where
so he doesn't die.
I'm like, can the human body... I thought, like, 4 or something was, like, the limit.
I mean, they... Flight gear is designed to absorb Gs and, like, kind of... Not necessarily alter the human body, but, like, constrict it in a way that the Gs don't affect them as badly.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you can kind of train.
I guess.
Also, Phantom is a freaking fighter interceptor / bomber.
She like
this bitch does everything.
Yeah, she
but
hacks
that's
like
a real plane.
Yeah.
Yes, is a show.
That was what it was.
It was an episode.
Now on to The Price of Smiles, the derpiest episode thus far.
Yeah, turns out
Yuki's not looking so good, and I'm not saying that because her like nation's completely losing the shit out of this war. I'm saying it because she doesn't look good.
Yeah,
her eyes look kind of off this week.
I don't know if maybe the artist was having an off day or something,
or they were like behind schedule, so they're just like.
It's fine.
We spent too much time on the mecha fights. Just, I don't know, slap a face on there. Are the eyes lined up? Nah, it's good. It's all good.
What do you got for preloaded assets? We'll just throw those on her.
Yeah, so, apparently, you were right last week. That was, the one that was fucking up the Empire, that was, one of the twins.
It was girl twin.
Yeah, because we don't care about boy twin.
I mean, he's got the gray streak, but fucking whatever.
And they lost that battle. The kingdom lost that battle, and basically the next battle was going to take place at the capital.
Yay!
And yeah, the kingdom sucks.
Yeah.
Turns out a feudal system doesn't do so well against an empire.
No.
Because an empire is like, hey, we put the best people in the best positions by merit. And whereas a feudal system's like, hey, you get born into this position.
Yeah. Turns out it's great. Although
Harold is pretty fucking good at what he does.
Harold is a fucking flying ace badass.
I don't know. Harold is good at actually fighting. I don't know about Harold as a commander, because you know what I feel like? I feel like this entire war, the kingdom has not made a strike. They have just been playing hard defense the whole time.
Well, I think it's kind of like a World War II blitzkrieg situation where the Empire is just going so hard,
yeah, they're getting
so
blitzed,
fast.
But it's like... The kingdom this entire war has been in a death spiral.
Yeah.
Where they have just been losing harder each time they lose.
I think it's going to kind of change now because I would say
at the point
Empire...
where the kingdom has lost to the point where you can't lose anymore and still have another show to go on.
And I think I would count this episode as a win for the kingdom because like it is technically a tactical win. They have stopped the enemy advance.
I think losing the capital city is never a tactical win.
Well, they managed to stop the enemy where they stood. They managed to momentum is such an important resource that losing even a little bit of that can cause them to stumble later. So I'm hoping that this is sort of where we see it.
Blew up the planes, or were they actually taking the city?
They blew up the planes and were like, we're going to give them the city, basically. So it's not like they aren't necessarily fighting.
No, they're still fighting in the city because Ponytail guy stayed behind to lead the fight.
That's right.
They knew she wanted to surrender, and they're all like...
They sent her away.
Yeah. And they sent Yuki away. Ponytail guy's like, hey, look after my wife and kids. Because he said that because it's not like I'm just going to be the one to handle the transition of power. It's like, nah, we're going to make a last stand.
Yeah, because they don't want to give up. Yuki is like, I'm ready to surrender so no one else has to die. And everyone else is like, we're not doing that. Sorry.
Because occupation is terrible.
Yeah, turns out it's not very fun.
Even though you're going to get occupied anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully they start to turn. And
I wonder if he's dead or not, that guy.
I think we're going to find out next week. I think we're going to see the battle next week. Also, Harold fucks up Blue Squad.
Yeah, he almost kills the shaved head guy.
Yeah.
Basically, they have one last stand before the city's taken. Should probably do that in order instead. But
just
anyway,
randomly jumping around.
Because they are fighting in an open field because these people don't know how to set up barriers.
No.
Because it's like, hey, what if we put just a wall up?
I mean, how quickly can you build a wall that's going to do anything against mechs?
Quick deploy, just like metal walls, just kind of build some rows, at least.
All their technology, and they don't have quickly deployable barriers.
Yeah, you'd think that would be more important, because it's not like the mechs can tank each other.
Yeah.
It's like once you get hit, you're kind of... I mean, they have shields, but that's not really...
That's it, and not all of them have shields either.
Yeah, it's only like the important characters get shields.
Yeah.
But anyway, Harold decides to do a suicide run, where he positions himself on, like, in the middle of a minefield.
They deploy two rows of mines. Basically, there's one at the very front, and then you've got Harold's line filled with just a couple squads to keep them off, and then a row of mines behind them, and behind that you have artillery. Basically, Harold is like, this is a suicide mission. I'm here till I'm not here no more.
And Yuki decides she doesn't want Harold to die, but she sees a perfect plan to basically blow up the plateau.
Yep. And she doesn't want anyone to die, though. So
yeah,
she's like, alert the enemy.
Yeah, and obviously the enemy doesn't really listen, so a couple of them do die. And she's like, no, I have to watch. These are the consequences of my actions. And then a lot of them are stuck out in the middle of, like, just open sort of... spires that are left in the plateau, and Harold's like, this is a perfect opportunity. They can't, it's too big of a gap for their gliders to jump. Just shell them with artillery. And she's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, she is a 12-year-old girl.
I'm actually glad, though, that she hasn't instantly, like, her deciding to get involved, because I would like this show a lot less if she was just a tactical genius able to win the war and things and everything. It's just, nope. She doesn't. She's a 12-year-old, and she is actively helping them lose faster.
Yeah, she had one kind of good idea that then she just messed up. She ruined it.
And then she decides she's going to surrender to the Empire, and they're like, okay, just get on this boat and we'll take you to the Imperial capital, surrender.
We'll take you to the Imperial capital. We'll just head right on down there. Don't worry about it one bit.
And then she finds out, oh, everyone lied to me again.
Again, once more.
And turns out the dude with the ponytail stayed behind, and he's just gonna lead the last charge, and they're taking her to some, like, sort of off-site facility.
Yeah, they're taking her to a refugee camp center thing.
Yeah, and it's not over yet. Napoleon captured Moscow and still lost.
Yep, because you never invade Russia in the winter.
But, you know, the kingdom, they're not very good.
No, and I kind of want them to win.
The kingdom?
Well, not like overall, but I want them to have at least one win. Like, win something. Win a fight.
They haven't had a win in the
period.
yeah, they haven't had a win at all.
It has just been nonstop losses.
And I'm wondering, we're like 6 episodes in now. Maybe the peace thing they showed at the beginning with her and Still, like, maybe the whole opening is just like a
Just
troll.
lies.
Because Joshua is in it.
Yep, Joshua's in it fighting Sunny Smiles.
Yeah, and he's dead, so that none of that actually happened. So what if like all this is like, hey, it's a joke because they're like all smiling and wanting peace with each other, but these two people actually just end up killing one another.
Yeah. We do, Yuki does see Sunny Smiles rescuing the shaved head man.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, that soldier is rescuing that other soldier.
And then her aide's like, well, they are human.
Yeah. There are people in those mechs, and they do that on occasion.
Yeah. And yeah, they lost super hard this week, and I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do because what do they have left? They got like a ship and like a couple of guys, and maybe wherever they're going they have a couple of people, but they don't have an army anymore.
I actually have no, because I don't even know what they have for territory left.
Yeah, because I don't really know what their land structure looks like.
Exactly. What's behind the capital? I don't know, but they're back there.
Yeah, because obviously they would have more. If they made a direct route to the capital, they have more land. They have more cities, probably. But, yeah, what do you do?
I don't know. Where do you go from here?
Although, to be realistic, they probably took, at that point, if the capital is getting invaded, you probably took everybody good you had at a certain, like, you know, like, if you had people in, like, if your south is being attacked, you're going to take people from the north and be like, hey, can you kind of move your people down here?
Yeah, you need to consolidate your forces.
Yeah, because we're going to lose some real strategic locations.
And they already have.
I think it's fine that the kingdom goes. Remember, they couldn't hold a choke point.
They could not hold a choke point.
The strategic, like, easiest thing to hold, like, in fact, you never want to attack an enemy in a choke point, and the Empire did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And the kingdom fails at holding simple objectives that are easy to maintain.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so... And Yuki gets mad. She slaps Harold, and he just kind of...
He tanks it.
I'm also, like, she's 12.
Yeah.
He's a grown-ass man, and she's 12, who's probably... She's probably never slapped anything.
I don't know. Maybe she's got a good arm on her. Maybe she was practicing baseball.
It doesn't even leave a mark. Like, I don't even think,
yeah.
like, it's probably mostly just, like, wiping across his face, just...
Yeah.
So we'll get to see what happens next time. And I'm assuming we're going to have a blue episode of them, like, hey, we got the capital now. What do we do?
Oh, but this dude almost died. Almost. He'll be fine.
They're the only people that don't look super chipper now that they've, like, taken the city. It must be just because, you know, they're like, hey, bald dude almost died, but he's fine.
He'll be okay. He won't be in for a couple episodes, but, like, he'll be fine later. Also, Boss Man almost got wrecked super hard. We should be a little more careful. Maybe. Maybe we won't.
Yeah, I think the next one's going to be them with the occupation.
Probably. Oh, battle from their perspective. Because we'll see them taking the capital and killing that other man.
This episode was called The Crossroads of Fate, and I didn't really feel that went down.
I think it was supposed to be the point. I think it's supposed to refer to the point where she sees Sunny Smiles, but, like, it didn't really seem to have any impact on anything.
Yeah, that wasn't really that important.
No. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I still enjoy watching it.
Yeah, I feel like no one talks about this show either. Like, I see no buzz about it.
Yeah. It is.
And it's so far, it subverts my expectations.
It's very good at that.
Didn't expect Joshua to die. Thought he was going to be the main character. Nope. Thought, because, you know, again, because this opening's misleading, I thought Yuki was going to be, you know, hey, able to lead her people to victory. No, she has lost every single encounter not even just anything they've tried to do, they've lost.
Yeah, it turns out 12-year-old children are not good at military tactics.
In fact, even entertaining any notion she has towards it would probably be just dumb.
And even her advisors are like, yeah, we'll say we're going to do what you tell us to, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah, and a lot of, you know, at the beginning of the episode, the first episode when Twin Girl was like, hey, a lot of people think we don't need a monarchy anymore. And I'm like, those people are probably right.
Yeah, those people are almost exactly 100% correct.
Those people aren't even probably right. Those people are right because it has just not worked out for you guys.
It has gone exceedingly poorly. But I'm excited for the shows next week. There's a lot of good developments in store.
Yeah.
All of the OPs are freaking bangers.
They slap.
I recoil from the slap.
Our show is a lot like some of the stuff in these shows. Like, I would say the protagonist seat is like a suppository.
Outdated and no one has it.
Yeah, outdated, no one has it, and it's honestly really uncomfortable.
Yep. That's the best kind of medicine.
So, yeah, if you
want to shove us up your ass next week.
Yeah, if you want to shove us up your ass, make sure you subscribe.
Like, rate, comment, subscribe, ring that bell.
Check out our Twitter at Protagonist Seat.
And take it easy so you can continue listening to our podcast. Because heart disease is very important. So you got to keep that stress levels low.
And stick that medicine for that right up your ass.
Yeah, put your heart medicine in your ass so you don't get a heart attack. You can keep listening.
The Protagonist Seat. The colonoscopy of anime podcasts.
Put that shit on a shirt. Alright, see you.